Hey guys, Tony Maritato here. So in this module, we're going to take a look at the Office Allies free patient management software called PracticeMate. And I'm going to show you how to admit a new patient before you generate the first claim. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started. So in this, PracticeMate is set up with these tabs. Across the top, you see Manage Patients. And that's where we're going to be working. And then here I've set up a couple fake patients. If you click on Add New Patient, it takes you into this setup. Now, if you're using patient account numbers, certainly this is where you'll put it. Let's say this patient is going to be James Black. So I might use JB for James Black. Today is actually 12. What is today? 12/20/17, December 20th, 2017. And then here as we start going through, so Black, James. If there's a middle initial, I always like to include it. We put the date of birth in, gender. I never record social security numbers. There's just no need to. If you want to include weight and height, certainly you may. I typically don't. Married status, again, if you want, you may include it. The drop down gives us a couple options. Employment, you may or may not choose to complete. Professional title, preferred language, race, ethnicity. Usually, all I have is what you see here so far. When we come down here, we enter their address, Monroe, Ohio, 45050. Home phone number, 941-941. Just making these numbers up. I don't generally collect a work number. I do ask what you prefer, and usually I hope that we have some sort of cell number in the event that we have to text the client. You know, I always ask for an email, so there we go. Communication preference. You know, these are great little things. We'll talk about the patient portal next, but for now, I'm just going to go with that. There is a reminder service through Office Ally. We do not use it. I don't typically do anything with smoking history, employment, emergency contact, next of kin. Down here, you know, these fields, if you want to use them, for example, for marketing, this could be just standard. How did you find out about us? You know, this could be physician referral. Account status, this defaults to today's date. And then when I discharge the patient, I may choose to put in an end date. Okay. And so let's see here. Now I don't use the, well, let's see. I'm just gonna hit add patient because we don't use their EMR. Here he is. Now normally I would also go ahead and put in his insurance information on that first page. So if when you check, you know, eligibility, you can have that real-time eligibility verification. The nice thing about this is once you put his insurance information in, it pops up. You can choose your payer. You would have your subscriber ID filled in down here, and it'll give us their benefits. That could be a huge resource if you check benefits before the patient arrives for their initial evaluation. So let's see here, primary insurance. So this would be, you know, certainly you can choose kind of specifically Medicare, Medicaid, commercial. For the most part, it's going to be commercial. Insurance company, and I'll show you. So I don't have that table set up yet. Let's try. Yeah, you'd have to have it. I might have. No, I don't have any of them set up yet. Primary insured. Patient relationship to the primary insured. Subscriber ID. So this will come off the patient's insurance card. And just to give you an idea, patient insurance card. Let's look at some images. So let's say, for example, you know, Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO plan. What we've got here, this YBC, and then all these nines, this would be the subscriber ID. So I would say YBC, you know, whatever it said. If there's a group number, you would enter the group number, 27255, 27255, bunch of zeros that were after it. If there's a plan name, certainly you would want to enter that. Preferred care blue, hospital admissions required power blue. I would say if you were going to use a plan name in this case, I would initially preferred care blue. Insured authorization. If there's a deductible when you check benefits, you can pop that in there. If there's a copay, like say there's a $35 copay, we'll use this to see if it populates in other areas. Patient signature on file. Yes, this is either you're using an electronic signature from the patient, or you have a paper release that they've signed, when they signed it. Authorization. If you require pre-auth from the insurance company, certainly you can put that in there. Some workers' comp claims would require a case number that could go in there. Number of visits authorized. In certain cases, you'll get a number of visits, or a start and stop date. You know, so let's say, for example, I evaluate this patient today, and I submit for auth, and it's active today, and it covers me through 1/20 next year. I'm going to put that in there. Now, this was all primary insurance. Now, there's a secondary insurance. So commonly with Medicare, you would have a secondary insurance. Sometimes when it's a husband and wife, you may have a primary and a secondary. You would put all the same information here. Let's say the secondary is another commercial plan. Let's say, you know, if the secondary insured, I'll have to look into this a little bit better to see what these fields actually are and do. Grantor, insured lists. You know, I imagine it would be the patient or the spouse or the parent. You know, and then this is where you'd have the patient, the spouse, the child, other relationship. I'm just going to make another subscriber ID, group number. I'm going to say secondary insurance plan name, just so we see where it shows up. Signature on file, yes. Signature date, again, it's going to be 12/20. Rarely will you have a third insurance. Dependent information, so that would be your child or spouse potentially. but I'm going to go ahead and update that. And so now we have this patient in the account. I'm going to stop this video, and then I'm going to start a new video that will show us how to generate our first claim for that patient.